When you hear the term SEO or search engine optimization, do you start to glaze over and freak out because you're wondering exactly where you stand in the SEO realm of things? I know I get that, and that happens to me every once in a while. But my friends, I have John Vuong with me here today, and his company is Local SEO Search, and he is going to take us through everything we need to know to optimize our business for strong SEO on the search engines. Are you ready to learn all about it? I'm ready to share it with you. Episode 248 starts right now. Hey there, welcome to the Lora Shipman Show. We hang out here weekly to talk about things like social media, entrepreneurship, marketing, tools, strategies, tips, and it all starts right now. Hey there, before we get started with this show, I just want to share my passion with you. I love teaching people just like you how to master social media for business, breaking it down into easy to consume and easy to execute steps so that you can see immediate results. So whether you want to start a social media consultancy or grow your brand's presence on social media, I can help. I can help you get started and master all the things that you need to know. So I want you to go over to my website. It is filled with resources, tools, tips, and courses. Visit lorashipman.com. That's LORA shipman.com to get all the goods. Now, you ready for the show? I know I am. Let's get started. Well, hey there, everybody. I'm so excited you are here with me today because I have my friend John Vuong with me, and he is going to, well, actually, his company is Local SEO Search, and I'm excited to talk to him because we can all benefit from some really good practices when it comes to SEO. John, welcome to the show. I'm so glad you're here.
Well, thank you for having me, Laura. I'm excited to share some tips, tricks, insights to really help your audience members dominate Google and get some inbound leads for their business.
That would be so amazing. I know I need it for my own business, which is why I'm so excited to talk to you. So before we jump into the meat and potatoes of this interview, tell us who you are and what you do, how you help people, what your business looks like, all that good stuff.
Yeah, definitely. So it all started 8 years ago. So back in 2013, I started this digital agency called Local SEO Search. And the reason I started was I actually was in advertising sales for 10 years. And I dabbled in traditional advertising sales, print media, trade shows, et cetera, as well as online performance-based affiliate advertising sales. And then I dabbled at Yellow Pages Group for 5 years. So just to give you a perspective, I did work with B2B business owners, a lot of professionals, trades, experts, but my core was really helping local small, medium-sized businesses get more return on their investment through advertising.
That's amazing because I think a lot of our listeners are that person. So you have like a really good perspective on what they're doing. Sorry,
Exactly.
I didn't mean to cut you off. I got so excited about that. But anyways, go ahead.
Yeah. So while working at Yellow Pages, I was there for 5 years. I got trained really well in terms of like the sales. But I also was really, the front line. I was listening, talking to a lot of these business owners. And one thing I did realize was, it gave me real clarity as to what direction I wanted to pursue and do for the rest of my life, because these were hardworking individuals. They understood how important it was to take care of their customers, listen, add value, understand community is everything, understand foundationally how to run a business. But they were spending a lot of time, like the effort, the amount of hours, grit, determination to be successful, right? So those were the people that I resonated with. So the reason I'm doing what I'm doing is the last couple of years, well, at Yellow Pages, they actually informed me, like these business owners, telling me that Yellow Pages was not delivering good return for them. Where should I go? Mm-hmm. And me, myself, at that time was moving towards more Google searches. I was doing my own investigation and research. And I knew if I was the norm or average, more and more people were shifting their behavior to digital. And there's a lot of different avenues on digital. And what I focus on was SEO, the most challenging, but it also is the most rewarding because just like Yellow Pages, when people are ready to buy, they used to pick up the phone book, go in the categories, and you didn't really have to sell them. They were just seeking out who to pick, right? So the users were in control. Fast forward to today or even like 10 years ago, Google has now taken over that entire business model of traditional to now digital. And yes, there's a lot of different mediums, social media, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter. And then there's the video, YouTubes. Then there's podcasting. There's a lot of clutter out there in terms of digital. But with clarity, you have to understand with SEO, what SEO provides is helping business owners be in front of customers who are actively seeking out their product and service. And what you want to position yourself as a business owner to do is become more of a visible presence to be an option for them to at least choose you. And that's what we've really harvested here at Local SEO Search to help businesses, small, medium-sized businesses, family-run, to really dominate their local niche and become thought leaders, experts.
Okay, that's huge because in the social media world, we always talk about niching down and picking that target audience. So it's the same thing in SEO as well, is what you're saying.
Yeah, SEO is there's a lot of factors that come with like building your own website to really position yourself and listening to the customers who are actively looking for your product and service. And very similar to social, I would imagine, Google is generating a lot of traffic, people seeking out your product and service daily or even hourly. So you want to understand what's going on in the back, but ultimately you want to fulfill what your customers are seeking out. So understanding like what goes on, how it works, and hopefully you are answering the problems that your customers have so that you can be, offering them something that they want to pay for, right? A service or product.
So I all of a sudden, a bunch of questions are going off in my mind, and I might get too advanced in my questions, and you just let me know. So what does that look like on a website? So let's take me, for example. I'm a social media manager in the Tampa Bay area. How do I set my website up? Like what kind of content do I need to put in my website to target people, local area businesses in Tampa, Florida, who could possibly use a social media manager? Like what would you recommend to me?
So that's a great example because is there a specific social media platform that you want to position yourself for? Is it Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, Snapchat, all these new ones, right? And then figure out what's your demographic. Who are the niches that you want to focus on? Then you have a website and you really focus on creating content to position yourself as an expert for that niche, right? So my suggestion is if you already have a portfolio of 10 of your best, most loyal customers of yours, understand what that bucket looks like, the avatar persona, right? Creating that and then probing them, asking questions that they would want to ask you if they were looking for a social media manager.
Okay.
So, for instance, like the who, what, why, when, where questions, and then also like profile them. Find out what's their age, who do they hang out with, what communities, what social, what are the searches that they're seeking out. Like ask. And this is where I learned this at Yellow Pages. Every sales conversation I had with these business owners, I would ask like 5 questions and let them talk for an hour. And then I would come back at the end with exact solutions based on their pain points.
Perfect.
And what you have to realize is it's an art of listening, but also probing, because you have to trigger them with open-ended questions for them to be vulnerable. But first, you need to connect with them on a very intimate level for them to feel like you care. And if they feel like you actually want to help them as opposed to sell them something, they're more inept to be vulnerable and go with your proposal at the end because it's a customized approach. So
I love
learning
that.
sales is such an art form.
Yes.
And 10 years of just doing that with like a lot of businesses, I've learned and kind of refined that. And I still am learning as we go on with this digital space. But it's fun, right? Like
Right.
this is the whole purpose of living, like running a business. You're always trying to adapt, pivot, and learn because things change. Your customers' behavior changes. Your customers change. So you need to change with them.
That's really good. Okay, I love that answer. So then my next question is, so say we pick our audience and everything, we know who we're going after, whatever. What are some best practices that we can do to make sure that we are targeting that audience correctly in the sense of SEO?
Yeah. So SEO is really about being positioned when people are actively looking for you. So you want to answer their problems. Hopefully you have a blog or you have, if you're a thought leader in social media in Tampa, like hopefully that's one of the key terms that people are actually seeking out, right?
Mm-hmm.
But there's a lot of keyword research out there. You can actually see keyword volume, right?
Right.
Search volume for that specific term and variation, semantic keywords, as well as pillar content, right? And then within each content piece, you can drill down even deeper to have content pieces that support the main pillar content. So just like the who, what, why, when, where, within each, there's way more questions that people are going to ask. So you need to figure out, like when you're creating a content calendar, you want to really drill in on answering everything that they want to ask to position you as a leader, right? And if you start doing that and slowly do it, don't overburden and stress yourself on this because there's going to be a lot of like challenges in terms of like time and tweaks, right? Like you don't know how to do it properly. Maybe the first time, what they're looking for, and what is the content that you're putting together. Like there's a lot of depth you need to position yourself, and maybe writing's not your skill set. So do they like consuming video content or audio content? Understand your audience and get in front of them with the multi-channel approach, but also answering their problems.
Okay, so actually, I have a couple of questions about pillar content. So when you're talking about pillar content, are you just strictly talking about blogs, or is it like you said, it could be multimedia, multi different types of media that you're putting on your website?
Yeah, so when you put in a blog, it should be a title that is more of answering a problem, right? Question that someone has. And within the blog, you should have different formats in there. Video, maybe put a podcast link, maybe have rewritten the blog on that same article, right? Because you don't know how your customers are consuming the piece of content. But there's also another way to do it: transcribe, right? So if you and repurpose. If you do video, repurpose it on audio as well as written. So it could be multi-purposeful if done right, right? So the point is use content to your benefit, personalize it as much as possible, add depth, resources, links, internal links, external links, but position yourself as a leader.
So I think sometimes when people think of SEO, at least sometimes I do, I go old school right away thinking that SEO is just blogging on a regular basis. But you're saying no, your actual blog contains video, audio, and written content in one spot, in one area.
Yeah. I mean, SEO is not just content because content is, yes, a small component of it. Technical is a huge component. Link building is a huge component. Reputation management is a huge component. And then understanding, okay, Google is a beast that is always changing their algorithm because there's always people in the world that's trying to hack the system or find faster ways to trick Google's algo. What you need to do is play the long game and do the right thing, right? As a business owner, because most business owners spend a lot of years becoming that expert. Let it be a tradesperson, let it be a health professional. They spend a lot of time in school. Then they they work for someone. Then they are an associate to maybe purchase. And then they save their life savings to purchase and start their own. So maybe by the time you're an owner, you're in your 30s, 40s, maybe 50s. And you don't want to, that tarnish of reputation. If you pick the wrong company or you're trying to, grow your business fast, reality is businesses take time to learn how to run a business. And then Google understands that it's not an overnight success to become a thought leader. It takes time for you to position yourself as well. So you need to understand how everything works and don't get sold by people that claim that you're going to be making $100,000, $200,000 a month or whatnot. In reality, it's not as easy as it sounds.
Wait, it's a lot of, so yeah, it sounds like a lot of work. And so I'm thinking to myself, what are some things that I could do today, just like an average business owner, what are some things that I can do on my website today that will help me in the SEO? And then I guess my follow-up question to that would be, when do you bring on an SEO agency and what does that agency do? So first tell me what I should be doing today by myself before I even get to the agency part.
So usually when I look at a client, okay, they have to have some strong core foundation of knowing how to run a business in the first place. Mm-hmm. What I mean by that is they've probably been in business for a couple of years. They understand how to take care of their customers, have revenue, and understand that profile of their ideal type of client avatar. And they have an idea of what's the lifetime value of the customer, the profit margin, what services they really want to compel with, who their major competitors are, all that stuff, right? So that means you know how to kind of run a business for a couple of years. And now you want to increase your marketing efforts because you want to attract more of, or become more visible, mm-hmm. right? Mm-hmm. So now that you know that, it's more about refining your website. Your website's the first touch point and it's probably the biggest asset piece that you have today. Mm-hmm. It used to be a bricks and mortar store, mm-hmm. signage and people walking. But today, with the pandemic, a lot of people are now home-based doing a lot of research. Right. So with your website, first thing is that first impression. You're going to make sure that it's fast loading. It has really crisp images. It has things that compel. It answers the problems that your main customers are seeking out. What I always see on website is other business owners love talking about themselves.
Right.
Users don't care about what you think. They want to know if you can help them or not. So the content piece should be really focused on delivering information that resonates with the customers and not what you think you should be pushing out. So conversion copy is huge. Writing good content to really answer the problems your customers have. And what are their problems and pain points? That's what you should be putting out there on your website. That's the first thing, right? And then second thing is navigation, UX, design, the technical aspects, URLs, internal links, all that. I mean, if you're not strong in building a website, hire someone to do it. Mm-hmm. It's very time consuming. There's a lot of people that can do it for you and they're really good and they enjoy it. Then it's more about there's a lot of asset pieces out there. Creating, you have social media assets. Make sure it's consistent messaging across the board, right? Make sure you're updating your blog. If you're on an email list, make sure you're constantly updating every channel of your funnel, right? Your marketing channels. Then it's the links. A lot of people forget about link building. And I'm going to touch upon that. But what link building is, just so the audience knows, is there's two types of links. There's citations, which is a free profile link. Like when I was working at Yellow Pages, it's a directory. Mm-hmm. Anyone could go to Yellow Pages, type in their information, and get a free link back to their website. The challenge with citations are usually they're a no follow backlink that doesn't generate any traffic flow and authority passing from that directory onto your website. So what you want to do as a business owner is to try to, yes, get as many of those because it's free, but also start positioning yourself so that you become a thought leader or an expert. And how hard is that? Well, it takes time and a lot of hard work and connection, relationship build, and actually know what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
So the link building piece is about other websites where you're contributing either content, you have a personal relationship, but they're usually associations, chambers, thought leader,
Okay.
experts in your field, right?
And in your
So
local area too.
not just local area.
Okay.
It could be anywhere that's in US or Canada, like I would say country.
Okay. Okay.
So for you, social media marketing would be
Right.
huge, right? But they only take on contributors that have some influence that's been doing it for many, many years. So that's what you aim to be as a tier 1 contributor. But you can start working on tier 2 or tier 3 contributing articles and guest posts on your local newspaper, local, chamber, business community, right? All these, that means you have to build a relationship. You either sponsor, you go out there, adding value to their members, right? Seeing if you can publish a piece of an article or whatever it may be. And hopefully that allows you to have a backlink back to your website. So just to give you an idea, that takes a lot of time, effort, but it also gives you the most impact in terms of backlink. And usually those are do follow earned, and it generates a lot more trust in Google's eyes. And that's why you start ranking when you get more backlinks.
Okay.
So that's what backlinks are. And there's different ways to do it. You can reach out, you build relationships, you go out there, do speaking, you pay for sponsorships. There's commenting forums. I mean, there's a lot of strategies. There's over hundreds of strategies for backlinking. And it's it's like PR for your website.
So I have another website that's not related to my social media business, and I'm like curious how this happened. I'd say a half a dozen people reach out to me on a monthly basis saying, we would love to be a guest blogger on your website. I've never heard of them before. Like, how did they find me? And is it a good thing to do? Like, take me down that road. Like, what are they doing? Are they trying to build their backlinks?
Yes. So when people ask to be a guest blogger or guest posting, they want to write an article on your website, linking back to their website to earn a backlink. So in this SEO world, that's what's happening. And I have a team that does that, right? Because it's earning it. It's asking for permission. And hopefully you as a business owner allows for it. But you as a business owner should not do it. Just to give you perspective, because it's diluting your influence and it's passing on some of the juice that you've earned onto them. So, you want to retain as much of your juice authority as possible. And, if you are a very high DR, like if you're on Inc. or Forbes or any of those big, high, huge domain authority sites, I mean, they don't care, right? But you as a business owner, every link matters. So that's ultimately how it works. And if you think about traditional businesses, because I did work at Yellow Pages for many years, there's only things that they really focus on. They focus on word of mouth and referral type of businesses to earn, credibility, some influence within the community, right? So very similar to online, it's word of mouth and referrals, right? So the word of mouth is, trying to get more people to know about you. And that's what the links are. And the referrals are, similar, but also you have to play into like case studies and testimonials too, because that's important. Before it was like white papers or it was like a printed reference letter, right? Like I saw so many of those when I was at Yellow Pages, but I understood the impact because people trust third-party reviews more than you writing a testimony on your own website.
Of course. Yeah, absolutely. So if I were to hire an SEO agency, what would it look like? What should I expect from that agency to do for me and my website?
Yeah. So just to give you a perspective, I don't know what other agencies do. I know what I do for my own agency. So for the last 8 years, we're really refining our agencies to really mimic what the largest brand agencies are doing. Because I'm a part of a lot of communities, I'm a part of a lot of speaking tour SEO people, and just to piggyback what they're doing for large brands and bringing it back to the small, medium-sized business owners, because that's my tribe.
Right.
I want to help them. And for me, it's like, okay, what are they doing at a level for me to make a decent margin, but also help? So what we do is we take on the SEO strategy, we do implementation on the dev end, technical SEO, website changes and whatnot. And we also do the social media, just creating and optimizing for that. We also increase, blog content. So we do all the writing for our clients once a month. Then we also do the link building.
I was going to say, do you help with the link building?
So the link building is also a part of it. So everything, and we also have like graphic designers. We have all these junior people. Everyone really plays together to make it a really solid campaign. So with our agency, we're a full service boutique agency that really understands small, medium-sized businesses to help them, because they probably don't even know what is required and needed. Right. And they might just do one aspect of it. Well, if an agency like mine is doing everything and you're trying to just compete with me, there's no way you can do what you do with one person than someone doing it with like 7 different people with expertise, with a solid track record, right? So, you have to understand, you alone can't do everything. You need a team to do everything properly. Just like if you're a business owner, you probably have someone taking care of your books, bookkeeping, accounting. If you're doing all the hiring and training, maybe there's someone in there that handles it for you, right? If you're a solopreneur, there's a lot of hats that you wear, right? Like sales, marketing, operations, customer service, buying, supply chain, like all these things take up a lot of time of yours. So if you can free up certain things that is worth investing in, so that you don't either have to do it because it stresses you out, or you find someone that's actually really good at, like in-house. You can hire people, contractors, in-house people, or you can try to do it yourself, right? There's tons of blogs, there's tons of articles. The challenge is it's going to be frustrating for a lot of people when they don't see movement and traction.
Right.
When you go with someone that has a track record, or they kind of have a system and process in place, and they have all the software needed, like just software alone for this SEO campaigns, you're looking at like $500 a month just to buy good software.
Wow.
Right? Wow. Because we need to know what's going on to compete with the players.
Right.
So you alone, $500 plus, you're looking at all the people to do the work, right? Like technical, in changes, like all these things starts adding up.
Yeah.
But if you're serious, I mean, there's people out there that can really help you. Just look for people that you trust. I think that's the biggest thing, because there's so much going on in this world. There's a lot of SEO agencies. They claim the world. They, sell you everything. They overpromise everything. Be realistic, right? Like go with someone that is in it for the right reasons to really help you, because you've built a company and it took you so many years to get to that point. Do you want to ruin it?
Right. So my question is, what is realistic when it comes to time frame, as far as when you can expect to see SEO results?
Yeah, so that's a very interesting question, because I've seen clients start ranking and generating a lot more leads in a month.
Okay.
But I've also seen clients start generating a lot of leads after 3 years.
Oh, wow.
So perspective is everything, and understanding the climate that they're in terms of competition.
Yeah.
So if you're a dentist and you're in Toronto, Canada, and you're a brand new clinic, how do you expect to compete with a dentist that's been doing SEO for 10 years? So it's all about perspective and realistic. It doesn't matter how much you spend. You need to start getting in. And it's very similar to like real estate.
Mm-hmm.
It's not how much you spend, it's getting in, starting the process. The sooner you get in, then you're going to start building equity. You start paying down some of the mortgage and you start
Right.
earning yourself earning. So that's what I always refer to in terms of like SEO. You either do paid ads, which is renting space, or you do SEO, which is earning equity.
Okay, I love that. That's really good. I know we only have like a couple more minutes left. So I'm thinking I want to talk to you about keyword research. So if we go back to somebody building out content on their website and stuff, and you kind of touched on it earlier about keywords and everything, how important are keywords and how do you find them?
Okay, tools.
Okay.
And also, if you don't want to pay for tools, you can always go on Google and type in keywords.
Okay.
They'll usually do auto suggest with the most popular keywords right underneath, right? And so those are the keywords that you or your customers are typing in. But ultimately, I would say ask your 10 best customers and find out what would they type in to kind of seek out your service. Don't think you know what they typed in. They know exactly what they typed in.
Okay.
So
That's
find
good.
out from there. Also, there's a lot of competitors of yours that are probably ranking. There's tools for that to find out what keywords they're ranking for. That's the whole point of tools. It's nothing to do with, hacking or anything. It's really to do competitive analysis. And once you analyze and see what other people are doing, it gives you a better perspective on how do you go to bat and have a strategic plan to have a better outcome for your customers or for your purpose yourself, right? So understanding what these tools do and how to use it for your benefit.
Okay, that's really good. So you can actually figure out what's going on in your local market, what keywords people are using by just using some keyword research tools.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, cool. Well, before we go here today, I was just curious, is there anything else you wanted to add before we signed off? Anything that maybe we've forgotten to mention?
I mean, with SEO, I always tell people it's one small segment of the entire marketing space, right? But it's one pillar that a lot of business owners don't take seriously and they don't understand. So they don't invest. They are afraid of the unknowns because they don't see what's happening. It's not like social media where you actually see the actual ad being visible. The challenge with SEO is because you don't see it, you don't trust what is going on in the back end. But when you do trust the company or you do it yourself and you start getting good rewards from it, it's the most powerful, best ROI that you can bring to the table for your business. Because, and I've ran a lot of different media channels. I've done traditional and paid social and all this stuff. Business owners, all they care about is calls, revenue, sales, and profitability, right? If a proper campaign can deliver on all that, would you make the move?
Of course, yeah.
With paid ads, yes, you're gonna see it, but so is everyone else, and you're interrupting people's attention on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Because it's not like a search engine. People aren't in control of their whole navigation process. So someone going on Google is so far down that buying journey that they're just ready to buy and they're seeking out someone that they can help, right? Or that can help them get them closer to the decision. So if you really understand the power of Google, get in front of where 80% of the people, 90% of the people are searching for your product and service. And if you're able to capitalize on becoming one of the top 3-5 people in the market, you're going to get majority of the traffic, which means you should be able to convert a portion of it to generate a lot more sales for your business.
Absolutely. That's awesome. Thank you for those words of wisdom. So, John, tell everybody where they can find you on the internet.
So my website, it's called localseosearch.ca, based in Toronto, Canada, but we service clients all over the world. And yeah, we have a podcast, but it's really just tips and tricks. Myself and my VP was at Yellow Pages. So I was there for 5 years. He was there for 30 plus years.
Wow.
So we have a lot of insights on like helping small business owners. And that's what we do. We just try to, inform, educate, and hopefully make an impact. And that's called Local SEO Today. So you can check that out as well.
Local SEO Today is the podcast.
Yes, that's right.
Okay, perfect. That's awesome. I want to definitely check that out. So thank you. John, thank you so much. This was awesome. Thank you for sharing everything. Well, not everything. SEO is such a huge topic, but thank you for doing a little dive into what you do and how we can improve our business online. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, not a problem. And if you do have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to me personally. LinkedIn is probably the best place to find me.
Okay.
And it's John Vuong, founder of Local SEO Search.
Awesome. So what I'll do is I'll put the link to John's website, the link to his podcast, and his LinkedIn profile link in there as well in the show notes, so you guys can all find him. Well, John, thank you again for being here today. We really appreciate having you.
Thank you for having me, Laura. Have a great day.
Hey there. I just want to say thank you for spending time with me here today. I know your time is super valuable, which is why I am dedicated to providing lots of usable, actionable information in the shortest amount of time possible. Before you go, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a future episode. And if you have ideas or topics you would like me to cover in an upcoming show, let me know about it in the comment section provided.